So I want to give you my first few days impressions and my comparisons with MPC and Maschine. Since I've been using it over these last few days, I've just got a few thoughts. Like with the MPC, you can... So when it comes to recording MIDI, you have to be more in time with Maschine, because otherwise, if you're not, it tends to push the notes to the wrong positions when it comes to quantizing. Whereas I find that on MPC, I can be looser and it quantizes it to where I expect it to. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe it's just the pads are different and it's just my excitement of getting it, I'm playing it better. I don't know, man. Like, it could be that. Could just be a coincidence at this point. I've only had it like 4 days now, so it could just be coincidence. But I find that I've been a lot more in time when I'm playing MPC for some reason. One thing that I do like is that I can have the MPD plugged into the MPC and I can have the other bank of the pads on here. So once you get to the top, you can just carry on from here. That's handy. Can't do that on Maschine. Or maybe I just ain't set it up right with the Maschine. Maybe there's a bit of like setting up you got to do, but with MPC it just works. So that's pretty sick. I like that. I only figured that out yesterday. I find that Machine's operating system is a lot more easier for beginners though. It's a lot more beginner friendly, definitely, man. The MPC, it takes a bit more learning and knowing what the things are, like the names of things and that. I think with Maschine, it's more intuitive, I'd say. If I didn't use Maschine first, it would have taken me ages to be able to learn that. I wouldn't have learned it in like a day or two, like I have. It would have been like weeks and weeks before I learned that properly. Like whereas Maschine, I picked it up relatively quickly. One thing that Maschine could definitely have is the ability to remember MIDI. So sometimes you're just playing around and you're playing a drum pattern and you think, oh, that was sick. I was well in time then, and you can't pull it up. In the MPC, you can recover that MIDI information and bring it up, what you just played. So it's constantly recording you, basically. I don't really like the way the quantize works on MPC. I don't like the way you have to go to the time correct and then you go do it and then it does it. I like to change it and see the notes changing, mate. I don't see that with that. Maybe I'm not using it properly or something. I don't know, mate. But if I turn the quantize off when I'm recording and then I highlight everything and I go time correct, do it, I don't see the notes jump. It only matters what it sounds like at the end of the day, but I like to know, you know what I mean? I like to see it. I like to see the notes moving as I'm changing the quantize value. One comparison that I can make with the sampling is that when you're sampling with Maschine, you can't change the volume of the pads if you've chopped it up in slice mode. So say if you go through and it's playing and you're chopping it up as it's playing, well then afterwards you can't change the volume of the individual chops. So that's why I have to use compression and stuff. But with the MPC, every single pad is its own thing, whereas Maschine kind of has all of the chops in one pad. You know what I mean? Where that spreads it out, chop, chop, chop. That's one thing I like about the MPC and one thing I don't like about the Maschine. But they're both really good machines, mate. They're both banging. You could get either one and make banging tunes. That's cheap now. I got that for the same price that is. So even though it's an older version, still does the same thing as the new ones. It just ain't got as much RAM in it. But if you want to plug it into your computer, you can. I ain't really pushed it to its limits yet. I've taken it close and it started warning me. But then when I've done a purge, it purged all my samples out. I went and smashed it all up. Not that kind of purge. I think there are other things, like the pads feel different on both. These are more bouncy, the Maschine pads. These are harder. These are more firm. But they do bounce. Will you do that? You know what I mean? There is a bounce to it. So there is a difference there. You will play things different on the different machines. You'll have these slight inflections, these subtle little differences. If you like that thing, like I do, I like all these little subtle things that add up in the end to be one cohesive thing. Boom. So yeah, you can get either one. This ain't a Maschine Plus though, so I ain't got no experience with Maschine Plus. But I know a lot about it. I've heard a lot about it. Well, Bolo talks about it all the time, doesn't he? Well, I said that then. Like, he just keeps going on about it, won't shut up. I spent all morning today trying to do a fair comparison with MPC and Maschine for you guys, yeah? So I was going to make the same beat on both of them, using the same samples and everything, and then see which beat came out the best. But with the limited leads I had and stuff I've got, I couldn't set it up, so I couldn't set it up to be completely fair. Like, there was too many variables. Like, I couldn't do a fair comparison, really. Because I was using Maschine years ago, before the arranger come in, like the clips mode where you can edit on the timeline, I've never really used it. But now I've got the MPC, that's the only way that I've used the MPC so far. So I think when I go back to using the Maschine, I'm going to be using it like that, in arranger mode, instead, editing on a timeline, like Logic, a proper DAW. It's not a proper DAW, but you know what I'm saying. So there are different reasons to get the MPC if you're thinking about getting one. It can freshen things up again and get you like wanting to make more beats and stuff. So, you know, I'm not comparing like the hardware. You can't really, because it's a different unit. Like, that ain't got all the bells and whistles on it, has it? Mind you, they don't do a version with all the bells and whistles, do they? This is it. The Plus ain't got no extra buttons on it or no extra stuff. I think they're both sick, and I will use them both for different things. And when I'm in different moods, I'll definitely be sampling records into the MPC, making my own loops on there. I ain't got back to that for a while. I'm going to get back to that. That's the thing with doing YouTube. You start loads of little projects because I'm creative. I just have loads of ideas, mate, and I just want to create them. And I just don't have enough time, really, mate, to get them all out. Like, I'm just about to make a beat that I knew I was going to make days ago because I'm still doing YouTube stuff. It does hold you back from like making a lot of beats, and I'm getting a bit out of practice, to be honest with you. You do, mate. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you get rusty. Like with guitar. If I picked up my guitar now, my hands would well ache, because I ain't picked up my guitar in ages again. I know I only post like once every 7 to 10 days, but that's only because that's how long it normally takes me to do one. So I'm going to get to making a beat on the MPC. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be coming soon. I'm going to post this probably tomorrow, this video. It's just a little extra one. Thought I'd just throw it in there, mate. I might as well make the beat in a separate video. So that's coming soon. I'm going to make it in a minute. In the next one, yeah? Boom.